Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Fleming Neon is moving forward and will no longer be a dry city within Letcher County. And some teachers are saying they make less now than they did 10 years ago before the rise of inflation.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. It is 6 a.m. this Wednesday morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast.
Good morning, Madison. Good morning, everyone. Fog, not an issue like it has been the last couple of mornings. Temperature-wise, not too bad as well. 63 outside our door. Nice sunrise here outside in the heart of Perry County. And yeah, some of our visibilities are fluctuating, but nothing too drastic. Down to 7 miles at Harlan, and you make your way over toward Jacksboro. The visibility has dropped down towards 6 miles. Temperature-wise, again, nice 60s. Lower 70s, a touch cooler as you cross the state line into Virginia, Grundy, and Clintwood as the waves of clouds continue to stream on in from the west. We'll average out to being partly sunny today. And if we do see a shower, it's up toward Lexington and Moorhead this morning and again this afternoon. The spit hit variety, it's more of the nuisance than anything substantial. As we see a forecast high in Hazard this afternoon, up to 84. More about your First Alert 7-day forecast coming up in a few moments. Madison.
Tim, thank you. Before we get into some of last night's election results, we have some developing news in Letcher County. An 11-year-old boy is dead after he is believed to have drowned in the North Fork of the Kentucky River in Blackie. The coroner says Curtis Halcomb of Blackie was pulled from the river and taken to the hospital, but pronounced dead around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. An autopsy is being performed. Another developing story from last night, a former Powell County judge executive is dead after an incident in Jackson County. State police received a call from the McKee Police Department requesting help at Jackson County Middle School. Officers say 48-year-old James D. Anderson was reportedly unloading storm drain tiles from a lowboy equipment trailer when he fell. Officers say he died as a result. Foul play is not suspected. Yesterday, a Pulaski County man was sentenced to 250 months in prison after his arrest last year at a traffic stop. It was March 29, 2023, when police say they found more than 50 grams of meth on 42-year-old France Allen Helton. Officials say they also found more than $2,000 in the car. Helton admitted that he intended to distribute the meth to others. He was also convicted for trafficking meth in the Pulaski County Circuit Court in 2019. And a Laurel County man was sentenced to 12 months in prison for conspiracy to rig natural gas meters. Officials say Mark Holbrook, a 72-year-old man, and his son Marshall Holbrook began manipulating natural gas meters used on pipelines in 2016. The goal was to boost their profits by altering how much gas was read on the meter. The Holbrooks were in the business of sourcing natural gas for Somerset Gas Services and Delta Gas for more than 20 years before this. U.S. District Court Judge Claria Horn-Boom ordered Mark Holbrook to pay a restitution of more than $1 million to SGS and $100,000 to Delta Gas. And we'll start our voting coverage with one of the most watched Senate races in Eastern Kentucky. 3 names were on Tuesday's election ballot for the 29th District State Senate race, and shortly after the polls closed, incumbent Johnny L. Turner of Harlan County was announced the primary winner. In total, Republican Johnny Turner won with 62% of the vote, or 4,305 votes. Republican Randy Thompson had 2,181 votes, and Republican Sean Gilley had 491 votes. One Letcher County city is going wet. Yesterday's election brought Fleming Neon one step closer to seeing alcohol sales in the city. WYMT's Buddy Forbes takes a closer look at the vote.
After dealing with the devastation of the 2022 floods, Voters in Fleming Neon say going wet may be the only way forward.
Especially after the floods, a lot of people have been leaving. Well, even before that, a lot of people's left, and this town's been dying for something to bring back tourism.
The majority of voters agreed, saying they support the sale of alcohol in city limits.
We need funds, the city needs funds, the tax rate isn't enough to carry us. FEMA money will be gone soon.
The item passed during Tuesday's primary election, and while some voters are still opposed, citing religious or moral reasons, others say the change is a good thing that could create opportunity for police funding and potential businesses.
I think allowing alcohol will greatly benefit the city because this city, the city of Neon, needs something.
Saying the sales could be a real shot in the arm for the city. In Letcher County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Supporters represented 80% of the vote, with 66 voters saying yes and 17 no votes only accounted for 20% of the vote. A new restaurant tax may be coming to Hazard in the near future. Officials say could benefit all of Perry County. Hazard and several other cities filed a lawsuit against the state after being told they were not eligible for the tax, and a ruling came back in Hazard's favor last week. Although new taxes are often not popular, officials want people to know this can lead to continued growth.
And everybody that eats in Pikeville or London or Manchester, wherever you eat, just look at your receipt. There's a little 3% tax on it. That goes into tourism. This money doesn't go into the Perry County Fiscal Court's budget or the City of Hazard's budget. It goes into a tourism budget. And then people apply for different projects they would like to see done and move forward.
Officials said a sports complex near East Perry Elementary will be one of the first projects in development once funds are generated through the tax and other grants. Researchers at UK say drug overdose deaths spiked in the months following the COVID shutdown of 2020. A study conducted by KIPRC analyzed drug overdose death certificates and toxicology testing data from 2018 to 2021. Prior to the pandemic, the study says annual drug overdose death rates in service industries were higher in non-service industries. However, Terry Bunn says there was a surprising difference when looking at death rates from during the pandemic.
Over the period of the gubernatorial business closures throughout 20 and 21, that actually the non-service related industries had a higher drug overdose mortality rate compared to the service industry, which was a surprising finding.
Pre-pandemic, the drug overdose rate per 100,000 employees in the service industry employees was 46.7 and 45.7 for non-service industry employees. Some Kentucky teachers are struggling to make ends meet. Data shows Kentucky educators make about $56,000 a year. However, when adjusted for inflation, teachers are making on average of 5% less than they did 10 years ago. Heather Thomas Steele has been an educator for more than 2 decades. She says there are times where she has had to go to her mother and ask for help.
I mean, I hate to say it, but my husband were not able to keep food in the refrigerator. And I didn't want to have to go to my mother, who's 75 years old, to ask for help. I'm 49. I shouldn't have to do that.
Heather and Kathleen Salyers say some of their colleagues waitress or work retail on the weekends to help support their families. And while they recognize inflation is impacting all Americans, they say they wish teachers were respected enough to earn a livable wage.
I'm back. And welcome back, everyone. Had a little bit of an earpiece problem, but we're good to go now. 63 in Jackson, 70 at Prestonsburg, 60 at Middlesboro to 70 right now as you make your way towards Somerset. Go ahead and we'll check things out. Well, we had an earpiece problem, so of course we're going to have a computer issue with the clicker. Hold on, and it's not going anywhere. So you know what? We'll go ahead and we'll just leave it on the temperatures, and we'll talk about how good it feels outside right now. And yes, it feels a bit humid. And we got a couple of showers toward Lexington and back toward Louisville. And we may see a shower as you make your way toward Richmond and Moorhead this morning and again this afternoon. Nuisance stuff and anything at all. We all deal with a shower and thunder shower threat tonight into tomorrow. More details with the First Alert 7-day forecast as I go and I wrestle with the weather computer and get this to talk to that. It's coming up in a few moments. You know what, Madison? You started off 5 o'clock. It's your Monday on a Wednesday. I think the weather computer kind of thinks it's a Monday. Back to you.
Something about it is feeling like a Monday, but thank you, Tim, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. When we return, intelligence agencies are raising a red flag about new threats to election security, including AI.